Hello my loves, how are we all? I hope we're all having an absolutely wonderful week. Welcome back to my channel. This week's video is going to be all about my March TBR. Spring fever is here and it's given me all kinds of vibes for the books that I want to read in March. Now there are quite a lot of books that have been calling to me and are begging to be read that are going to be at the tippity top of my TBR, and I'm going to be reaching for them as soon as we hit March 1st. I've also got to do a little pick out of the jar for my 12 creators books that I need to read this year. So we're going to be doing that too. So let's dive into it, shall we? Grab yourselves a drink, let's get cozy, and let's talk about my March TBR. So in case you don't know, this year I decided to do the 12 recommendations from 12 creators, and I received some amazing recommendations. And I'm so excited to get to every single one of them. So far, the 2 that I've had have been amazing, and so I'm really hoping that we continue on with that streak. So I've got a little pot, I've got all of the books in here that are an option to read, and let's choose one together. Okay. Here we go. So the pick for March is going to be Scythe. I really hope I'm saying that correctly, but the pick for this month is Scythe. I am really excited about this book. One, it's actually on my physical shelf. I have the copy and it's been on there for quite a while. I've been putting it off and I don't really know why, but Sid chose this book for me. She has loved it and she said all of the books are amazing. So this is a dystopian novel. I've heard amazing things. I actually haven't heard anybody say they haven't enjoyed this book. So with this book on the back, it says, "Thou shalt..." What if death was the only thing left to control? In a perfect world, the only way to is by a professional scythe. And our 2 main characters are chosen to be apprentice scythes, but they don't want to be. They don't want to be, but they have to learn the art of, which is brutal. Brutal, brutal, brutal. I tend to typically really enjoy dystopian novels, so I'm thinking that this is going to be my cup of tea. Now, typically for my TBR, I tend to choose about 9 books for the month in terms of what I want to read. I really was a huge mood reader. Mood reader to my core. I'd be like, do you know what? I just want to pick up what I want to read. But then when I started making book content, I was like, that it's not giving people what they want. So obviously you start doing a monthly TBR, and gradually, as the months have progressed, I've actually started getting pretty good at sticking to what I say I'm going to read. But that's because I literally stare at my TBR card and I'm like, what's calling to me? What do I feel compelled to read? And then I try and build it from there. And I also try and finish any series that I've started. That's kind of my goal for this year, is to finish series that I've started. And then I'm like, okay, I don't want to start too many different series and have my head like all over the place. And I know I need some palette cleansers in there. And so that tends to be how I typically build my TBR. I have seen a lot of other creators have a TBR jar, and that's how they pick their monthly reads. Am I overdoing it if I jump on that wagon as well? Is it something you guys would like to see? If it is something you guys would like to see, I would be more than happy to start doing that as how I choose my monthly TBR. I'm more than happy to do that. If that's something that you want to see, please do let me know in the comments. But for this month, I'm just going to go through the books that I have chosen and that have called to me. So let's see what's made the list. First up, First Time Caller by BK Borison. This is screaming my name and is probably going to be the first book that I pick up in March because I don't know what it is. First of all, the cover, I just love the cover. The cover is just gorgeous. Apparently this really gives Sleepless in Seattle, and I love that movie so much. So much. So with this book, we have got Aiden, our male main character. He's fallen out of love, but he is also the host of a radio romance hotline. A young girl rings into this hotline on behalf of her mum, and the interview goes viral and the story proceeds from there. Our 2 main characters' paths cross and things happen. I've just never read anything like that. I've never read a romance like that. And I've heard that our female main character, she's got her life together. She's got her shit together. And that is the energy that she's bringing to the book. And I'm like, okay, I'm invested already. Haven't even read it, but already I want to know more. And so I just feel like I need to pick this up. I need to know what it's about. I need to know what everybody's talking about. But this is the book that is on everyone's lips. And so I'm like, is it gonna be a great read? Let's find out. But then I've got 2 more romance as palette cleansers. One is definitely a palette cleanser, the other is definitely not a palette cleanser. So the first one is Close Protection by Eden Victoria. This comes out on the 13th of March, and I was lucky enough to receive an advanced reader copy of this. So ideally, I would like to read this before the 13th of March. But this is supposed to be a thrilling bodyguard romance kind of read. Now, the only bodyguard romance book that I have read before was Twisted. You know the Twisted series? One of those books, I can't remember which one for the life of me, but one of those books is The Bodyguard. Twisted Games. Is it Twisted Games? I think it's Twisted Games, where he sits on the throne and he gets her to crawl to him. Yeah, a book. That's the only bodyguard romance book I've read before. I'm interested to see what Close Protection has got in store for us. Now, the other book is definitely not a palette cleanser. I can't even put it into that category because it's gonna absolutely rip me to pieces. I just know it, it's a fact. Okay, so the book that I'm talking about is Saving Six by Chloe Walsh. Book 3 in the Boys of Tommen series. Book 1, loved. Book 2, my absolute favourite so far, 5 stars. Excited to see what Saving Six has got in store for us. This is Joey and Aoife's story, who's Shannon's brother. In Shannon's story, you're kind of like a bystander in the events that happen to Joey, but you don't really get to know a lot about Joey. You know him through Shannon. That's about as far as it goes. Chloe has got a really clever way of letting you know about him, letting you get to know him, but also keeping you a little bit at arm's length, so that then when you do get to Joey and Aoife's story, you don't know anything actually about Joey and Aoife. She's really clever in the way that she writes. From what I know of Joey and Aoife, I love them already. I love them through Shannon and the little bits of snippets that we get to see. But I'm also scared for this book because I know that Joey's story, Shannon's story hits heavy, let's be honest. Shannon's story absolutely shredded my heart and soul. But I feel like Joey's story is going to be a different ballpark entirely. I'm nervous, but I'm also so ready to be back reading more of Chloe's books because I love them. They're so addictive, they're so good. If you don't know anything about me, first of all, let me just say I did not think I was going to be a Boys of Tom and girly. I looked at these books and I was like, why are they so big? And the main characters are young, and that kind of really puts me off. So when I read Binding 13, I did not think it was going to be my cup of tea at all. And I could not have been more wrong. And let me just tell you, if you're put off by the size of these books, when you start reading them, you are going to be like, they're not big enough. Just trust me on it. Trust me on it, trust me on it, trust me on it. They don't feel as big as they are. I love them. They're so addictive, so all-consuming, and entirely heartbreaking, but they will have you laughing one minute and crying the next. There is a balance in there. Like, the light balances the dark beautifully. I just love these books with my whole heart and soul, and I can't wait to see what Saving Six is like. Now, let's move on to the fantasy books that I want to read this month. The lineup. Stunning. The people have spoken in our book club, and you guys already wanted to read Heavenly Bodies. I have been seeing people talk about this left, right, and centre, and I've been seeing only 5-star reviews. So I'm like, okay, yeah, that's what I want for our book club. That's what I want us all to experience together. Yes. Now, this is kind of all about celestial beings, and in a world where no entities exist, the world is governed by the stars, who are these cruel, merciful gods. Our female main character, Alara, has been cursed by fate. There's this whole prophecy that states that she is gonna fall for a star, and it's gonna them both. And that's where the book proceeds from. That's where we're starting from. That's where we're going. The book proceeds from there. And I'm like, okay, my mind is kind of blown already. As much as I know that, I don't really know anything more about the book. That's just the baseline of what I know. And I don't really want to know anything more. I kind of want to go in and just see what comes my way, see what kind of time I have. In a way, as soon as I hear books about gods, I don't know why, I feel as though it's not going to be easy to consume. I feel as though it's going to be more higher stakes, more, not high fantasy, because I don't think this is high fantasy, but I feel like it's going to be somewhere in the middle of easy to consume and in the middle of high fantasy. I feel as though that's where Heavenly Bodies is going to lie. Whether I'm right, I don't know. That's just the kind of vibe that I'm getting from what I've seen so far, but I guess we're going to find out. And also, just to say that if you did want to read along with us, if you're interested in reading Heavenly Bodies, you're interested in reading as a group, I have got the most gorgeous group of humans over on my book club on Fable. It's called Paper Dreams, it's free to join, and so if you want to read along with us, please join. We would absolutely love to have you there. I feel like Heavenly Bodies is going to be a good one this month. Okay, next on the list of fantasy, we have got Bewitched by Laura Thalassa. This book is giving witches. With this, our female main character, she really wants to be accepted into this university for witches. Now, one of the requirements in order to be able to attend the university is that she has to be able to connect to her power through awakening that via the wilderness. So she books herself a trip to South Africa. And now you're thinking, okay, this plot already. Yeah, I'm the same. I'm the same. So we've got witches, we've got university, but then she's going on a plane to South Africa. Okay. But then the plot thickens because while she's in the plane, in the sky, a power from the ground attempts to bring down said plane. And in order to save her life, her power awakens, which you're thinking, yeah, great. But apparently it's at the cost of her memories, which the power starts taking one by one. And the story? The story proceeds from there. That is just the beginning. Just the tip of the iceberg. And all in this tiny book? 450 kind of situation? No, I want to know more. I want to know more right now. This is probably going to be my second witchy book of the year. I think I read The Witch Walker by Carissa Weeks earlier in the year. Didn't love that one. I'm drawing a blank if I've read any other witchy books. I can't remember. If I have, scream at me. Call into me, speak of my name, and I want to know more. What's behind the cover of this book? Then we have got Wings of Starlight by Alison Saft. I have read A Dark and Drowning Tide by Alison Saft previously, and that was okay, didn't blow my mind. I'm really intrigued because that book, and then you put this book at its side, could not be more different. This is like magical, enchanting, sweet, think. I mean, it literally has Disney at the top. This just feels magical. It feels like it's gonna absolutely have me spellbound in the best possible way. And I know this book is a star-crossed romance between the Queen of Pixie Hollow and the Lord of the Winter Woods. And this right here is our woman, the Queen of Pixie Hollow right here. I just think the cover is so beautiful. It's absolutely gorgeous. I'm not gonna lie, I have had a little cheeky peek at the prologue. Shall I read you the prologue? It's 3 pages. That's maybe a bit long. Let me just read you the first few lines. There are things hidden from all except those who know exactly where to look. If you gaze out your window in the early twilight hours when all the world is still asleep, you might notice an orb of light flitting through the late summer leaves, each one blushing red in its wake. You might see faint ribbons of gold in the air, shimmering just above the hyacinths pushing through the newly thawed earth. Perhaps, if you are truly observant, you might appreciate the chisel marks scoring the crystal lacework of each snowflake. Oh, I don't know, it's just so beautiful already. I'm like, I'm captivated. I don't even know anything beyond the basics. I can't wait. Can't wait. Then I would absolutely love to finish up an Ember in the Ashes series. So we've got book 4, which is A Sky Beyond the Storm. And I think this is supposed to be a lot of people's favourites in the series. I love book 1, I enjoyed book 2, and I enjoyed book 3. But this needs to be great in order to kind of like bring it back is how I feel. This needs to be 4 stars and above for the series to kind of leave its impression on me. That's kind of how I feel. Book 1 had so much promise. I loved it so much. And book 2 and 3, I don't know why. They've just kind of, they lost me in the middle of both books, and so I'm really hoping that the same doesn't happen for this. I'm hoping that it's going to be like, I'm invested, I'm interested all the way through. That's what needs to happen with this book. 7 levels of nervous and scared for the fate of our characters and what's in store for them. But I am excited. I'm excited to see how we conclude the story, and I'm really hopeful that this is going to be an amazing finish to the series. I'm hopeful. It needs to be. It has to be. And finally, my final book is potentially the one I'm most excited for this month. And I know I've been excited about them all, so you're thinking, Luz, have you lost your mind? Yeah, I lost it a long time ago, okay? But we're not here to judge. The book in question is this. Even just holding it in my hands, I feel so like I'm screaming on the inside. I'm screaming on the inside. City of Gods and Monsters by Kayla Edwards. It's overdue. It's been a long time coming. You guys know, I'm a Crescent City girly. Those books have such a special place in my heart. And apparently this is like Crescent City, but better. Like, just let that sink in for a minute. Okay. We're doing it. March, we're diving into this bad boy. I mean, this is a chunky read. We're talking over 700 pages. Yeah. It says on the top, when a devil is hunting you, there is nowhere you can hide. Screaming, like I said, literally screaming on the inside. Can you read that top line? I don't actually know anything about this book, and I purposefully have not looked into the plot because I don't want to know anything more. I just want to go in blind. I just want to go in blind, see what kind of time we have. It's actually, it really is giving Crescency, because on here you've got moons and you've got what I think is a wolf. I'm scared. I'm actually so scared, but also so excited at the same time. Like, how can that be? I'm both scared and excited. It's because I'm excited because obviously I'm excited, but I'm scared because I feel like in my head I'm kind of bigging it up quite a bit, which I probably shouldn't do. Maybe I should lower my expectation. Maybe I should just be like, okay, because I don't want to be disappointed. I'm scared because I don't want to be disappointed, but I'm also scared at the potential of how much this is gonna like rock the foundations of my world. I need to stop. I need to calm. I need to cool it. I need to get myself together. Okay. All I'm gonna say though is if those books are as good as I think they're gonna be, March could potentially be the best reading month I've ever had. I'm chomping at the bit at every single one of those books. And I feel like we've got the perfect balance of romance, we've got the perfect balance of fantasy. I do also want to carry on with the Legacy of Gods series this month. So if we have time, I'm also going to be picking up book 4 and giving myself a little dark romance palette cleanser. But it's Landon's book, this one is. Now, he actually is not my favourite character in the series, so I'm kind of expecting that this book might not be as good as the others. So far, Jeremy, his pole position, it's going to take a lot. It's going to take a lot to top him, and I do not feel like Landon is the one that's going to be able to do that, but I'm still excited to continue on with the series. So those are all of the books on my March TBR. Can't wait to tell you guys how I get on with them and share all my thoughts at the end of the month. I am so unbelievably excited. But that's everything for this week's video. I hope you've enjoyed. I hope you're having an absolutely gorgeous week, and as always, I'll see you back here at the same time next week for a new video.